Welcome back to Healing in Spanglish, episode 4. It's your hosts, Metztli and Ixchel,
your Boyle Heights besties.
Figuring out what wellness really means for us and our people.
So let's get real about healing in all the ways we weren't taught but deeply deserve. So the theme for today is exploring the choice of choosing to have kids within our generation, specifically the conversations around maybe choosing to wait a little bit longer in your late 20s or early 30s. And we're going to dive into the financial aspects, the physical toll on your body, as well as like the healing around like what that looks like and the socioeconomic political state of the world.
And clearly it's been a theme, I would say, in our generation.
Yeah.
It's changing, it's shifting. People are talking about not having them, which is like a new thing, I would say, in our, at least culturally. So we're excited to talk about this because we have opinions.
We do have opinions, yes.
And of course, we're going to do our weekly check-in. So we're going to start with our Spanglish word of the week, which this week we were thinking about.
El Facebook.
El Facebook.
El TikTok.
El TikTok.
El Instagram.
El todo. All the social media that has an L and that is pronounced super cute and like has become just like a thing that people like say because it's funny.
It's just
how parents or tías
El Google.
El Google, el todo.
Hay que googlear,
Yeah.
El everything.
It's just cute. And obviously with social media becoming a bigger thing, it's becoming a bigger thing for their generation
literally,
too.
Like my dad is on TikTok.
No, yeah. My mom is on Instagram sending me things all the time.
Oh, what?
All the time. I'm like, I can't watch all these videos.
Like, girl, I don't got time. How do you have time?
I know.
That's the question.
And then our mini healing confessions for the week. What is your healing thing for this week?
Mine is definitely like honoring when my body is not feeling so great.
Yeah.
I got sick last week. I wasn't feeling very live, love, laugh. And I like pretend to play it off. And then I got really, really sick. And then I had a horrible like fever and all that fun stuff. And I worked through like 2 days of it. And so I was kind of upset at myself afterwards because I was like, F this, like I'm literally feeling disgusting. And a lot of it comes from like being a one-person department. But yeah, so just listening to my body, taking the rest I need, because obviously I need a rest to get better. So that was mine, just making sure that I'm more mindful of that. What about yours?
It's a good one.
Yeah.
For me, it's definitely this past week. These past 2 weeks, I've been feeling pretty overwhelmed with just things going on in life. And I'm super grateful for all of the things happening in my life, but I have a hard time asking for help. And so for me, I've been thinking about how I need to ask for more help from anyone around me, from my partner, from my sister who lives with me, from my mom, anyone that I, could help me. And it actually ends up really helping me a lot. So yeah, I think my little healing thing is like, it's okay to ask for help and let go of like the control a little bit or the pressure to do it myself. So that's what I'm working on.
I love that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one, but it helps a lot once you do it.
Yay. On a little more lighthearted note, in theme with today, what's something that you admire about one of your parents?
Oh, yeah. So, in theme of like kids. One of the things I admire most about my mom and dad is, a lot of parents, most parents that I know, is their level of selflessness and like unconditional love. Like I truly feel that is how my parents feel about like us, like my siblings and I. Yeah, it's just incredible to see how forgiving, how patient, how they'll go out of their way to do things that I'm like, I would not do that for just anybody. But I get it. We're like the relationships unique. But yeah, I think it's incredible how like, and a lot of parents say this, how when you do become a parent, it really does shift.
It shifts.
Like that is your life. Like that becomes just the thing you want to really do well by, obviously your kid. And I definitely saw that in my own upbringing in how selfless my parents were for me. So that's something that I admire and I absolutely love about what they've been able to do.
Yeah, props to them.
Yeah.
It's a big sacrifice.
Yeah. Their own personal, goals or choices were definitely shifted when they had me in their early 20s. So props to them for like wanting to do that.
Sorry, I'm just like processing. I'm like, I don't think I could do that.
No, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think for me, I always admired like the level of energy that my parents were able to find like after I got back from school or like my extracurricular activities. Like my mom always cooked from home, so I could always expect like a cooked home meal. And it was only her, honestly, like that labor was her. And she poured all her soul and her love into it. So I think like, I don't know how she does it, because I come back from work very stressed out sometimes, and like I need my time to decompress and like be alone and focus on myself and take care of myself. And so I really admire how they find that energy to do it. Because I just don't think that's like something I'm willing to prioritize.
Well, see, that's the whole idea of selflessness. Though. It's like it doesn't even matter if they're freaking tired. Probably, it's like I'm gonna make sure that you're good,
you're fed,
you have what you need. Yeah, it's incredible.
It's crazy.
So props to any parents out there who are listening. Y'all are doing
the work, miracles.
I actually just saw a video of this guy talking about if a stay-at-home parent or mom oftentimes got paid their actual salary, like of being a private chef, of cleaning everything, of et cetera, how much they would get paid is incredible.
Did they give a number?
Yeah, it's like a 6-figure. I forgot what the actual number was, but it was definitely a 6-figure job, which I'm not surprised. They have like 5 full-time positions in one. But it's crazy because the work that is done for any parent who does that. Yeah, imagine they actually got paid. How many more people would be able to like be present for their child fully? That's a good idea.
That would be crazy. Take away the financial barriers. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, speaking of finances, now to kind of jump into this whole topic around the shift in our generation of having kids, of the choice of just not having one, or just delaying that decision in general to moving into maybe a little bit later. Oftentimes, like it seems like it's shifting more into your 30s now. A big reason that seems to be the reason is because of the financial circumstances that we are living in. I think it's pretty clear the ability to live in California, in LA, or many other places as well, but obviously we live here in Boyle Heights, is becoming more and more expensive. Inflation, the amount we're getting paid is not keeping up with the living expenses and just the price of rise of costs. It's just not keeping up with each other.
I agree.
So I think it's incredible how people are having kids in this time, and I need to have more conversations with them to understand how they're doing it, you know? But so I think financially, like that is such a big reason why people aren't having kids. So the first question I have that I wanted us to jump into is, do you ever think about how much money it would take to raise a kid? How does that compare to what we're seeing now with rent, childcare, the basic, cost of living? Like, is a big part of the reason why maybe you don't want a kid, or maybe thinking about delaying it long time, would be because of like some of the things that you've seen in your own life?
Yeah, for sure. I think like I said, I work for a nonprofit, so we offer a lot of like services from like basically like 0 months up until like you're 18. And so we have like, I have been kind of in those conversations where we talk about like childcare and how expensive it is, which is insane, because I guess in my mind I didn't process like the fact that like obviously if you don't have family members too that are willing to support you while you have a kid, like you do have to pay for childcare. And it's like sometimes it's a little bit more safer in that sense, because like the people working there have like their background checks, their life scan, their fingerprints. And so I've always thought about it. And like I know that like we give out like diapers, like formula, like very basic
so
things.
Expensive.
It is so expensive. Like I've gone into like
how expensive diapers were,
dude, and like wipes. Like what?
And then you need that like every few weeks. Because like a big pack. Like
how many times do you have to change a diaper a day? Probably like 5.
I have no idea. I've never changed up babies.
I assume, right? If you're like going 3 times a day, maybe baby goes a little bit more because their stomach is getting used to it. I've definitely have thought about that. And it's like, I really have so much admiration for my coworkers who like have kids. I'm like, girl, we're getting paid the same, and I don't know how you're doing that. How are you splitting that check?
No, it's insane. It's insane. And I think, and like I said, it's pretty well known already. Like data has shown that like the rising cost of living in California or Los Angeles, whatever it might be, is not keeping up with how much we're getting paid. Like we are getting paid, and our raises are much slower than the speed at which like a lot of things in our stores and rent is skyrocketing. And so it makes it also even just more unrealistic to bring in a whole other human, because I saw like a data point that like they they'll increase your yearly spendings and whatnot about 30 to 40%.
Oh, having kids,
which is a lot. You don't get a promotion, 30%, 40% promotion for having a kid. So it's like
no,
you can't keep up with it. So yeah, and I also saw a little bit more on how, similarly on the side of like these expectations that we have of like having a kid, getting married, buying a home. The reason our generation also is not buying houses anymore is because you literally can't afford it anymore. Like, it's
crazy.
Our income is not meeting the expectations to actually afford a home here without the interest rates being ridiculous. So
yeah,
I think it's crazy how like a lot of things that maybe once people were doing that were like just part of the milestones of life are just like unrealistic at this point because
they're unattainable, honestly. It's crazy. And I think another part of that conversation is like talking, about like us, right? Like student debt. Like I still have
student debt.
Like a few loans that I'm finishing with like paying off, and it's like obviously education has gotten more expensive over the time, and it's like, well, I just have like all this stuff to pay off. I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice like having a kid and like just feeling, I think also the emotional weight of like being financially unstable or just knowing that you have so much debt, like that's really scary to me.
And I think even with that though, and it's incredible to see like a lot more Latinos, Latinas, people of color in general are going to higher education, which is amazing, and that was the goal all along. But you are right. That comes with some level of debt for a lot of people, especially as our parents maybe start to climb the socioeconomic ladder of no longer being low income and be middle class, or, making their way up, or even us making our way up there as well. That then also means that if we were to have kids, at least I know if I were to have kids at this point with 2 incomes in my house, we're for sure middle class. Which is weird to say, but like we are. And that would mean for sure having to pay for like college tuition, which I didn't have to pay. I felt very fortunate. Fortunate and like not because of being low income and falling under the threshold, but that's also scary to me. I'm like, okay, true, I'm making more money, but I'm also already feeling like in some sense I'm struggling. So I'm like, imagine having to pay for college tuition. Ooh,
it's scary. It's kind of scary. I have a few friends that work in like the financial aid department at schools, and they have conversations like that with, I guess, people that are more middle class, working like doctors, nurses, and they're struggling and they're asking for more aid. And obviously there's situations where like it's students actually need it, but like it's crazy because it all comes out of pocket. It's like, well, you've done something else.
If you get over that threshold, you're screwed.
Do you know what it is? Just curious.
Dude, when I was in college, it was like $70,000-$80,000, which isn't even a lot for being one household.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I think now it has to be somewhere around like 150.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, something like that. But that's still scary with 2 incomes. Like if you're each making already $70,000, you're already gonna fall over that and have to pay. So it's kind of easy to go over it if you're like in a 2 household, you're getting paid decently now, and like that's the goal for us, right? Like that's what we're doing, and I'm very happy to be in that place. But also, it's a weird like shift in life where like you grow up very differently, and then now have to like you don't get the same resources. And I've heard a lot of like middle class friends that I had in college who I saw them struggling. Like they were friends who I actually saw them struggling, their parents struggling still as middle class people, but because they fell over that threshold a little bit, they have it very differently. Experience, so it's interesting.
That's rough.
I think like a little bit differently, but talking about parents. I'm curious, and this is like a very like, I mean, just more of like a funny question, but do you think to some extent like our parents had it easier when it comes to having kids because we're talking about like that financial side of it, like because things were less expensive? Do you think for some sense like it actually was easier to have a kid beforehand, or do you think they were just more willing to make sacrifices, or is it like none of those?
I think it's a mix of things. I think I can talk like I feel like about our community, like our Boyle Heights community, and like living in a low income community. But I think that my parents always struggled financially, especially as like immigrant parents, right? Like we talk a lot about like my parents' first jobs. It was like cleaning a fucking corporate office and like getting paid like $12 for like 4 hours or something. My gosh, yeah, like I know when my parents tell me those stories, and I literally like almost cried because it's fucking insane. So I think that for our immigrant families, I think it was always a struggle that came with lots of sacrifices for sure. But yeah, I don't think they necessarily had it easier. I think, unfortunately, like, it would balance out with other things, right? Like, they struggled in different ways. But I think I would say for maybe people that were, you know, not first generation and had already been living here, I think it might have been a little bit easier for like the middle class to like buy a home and all this stuff. Like, it was more of a realistic expectation. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. But I can't really speak on
only our opinions. No, but I mean, I agree. I actually one time at a birthday party with all my family, I went around asking all my tias and tios how much they made in their first job.
That's so funny.
It's actually really funny. You guys should all try it, because I learned a lot about my tias and tios that day, like all the different jobs they've had in their teen years. And my dad comes from a family of 8 siblings, and so there's a lot of them to ask. And so I asked them all. It was so crazy to hear like how little they got paid, also how young they started working as well. But yeah, it was like, one of them told me, was it $9, I think? $7 to $9, somewhere there. And I was like, what? What is that going to get you? But obviously, I mean, back in the day, obviously there was some level of differences, but still it was not a lot of money regardless for that time. I think on the side of like making sacrifices, like them being more willing to make sacrifices, I think like my answer is like yes and no, because I think that they were willing to make sacrifices in the sense that like, because there was such an expectation to have kids, they were going to do it. Like, it was just part of, at least from my side of the family, like, it was no question you were going to have kids. None of my dad's siblings did not have kids. Like, it was an expectation. So they kind of had to make those sacrifices. Maybe not like
willingly,
not maybe even willingly, but just like no question about it. Like, they just did it because it was expected. And I feel like now our generation is definitely shifting to like, well, no, I don't have to do that. Like, if I don't want to, I'm not going to. So it's not even like that we don't want to make the sacrifices. It's that we just choose not to.
We have the choice.
We just don't want to anymore. So I feel like it was a little bit of a forced thing, but yeah. I know you talked a little bit about student debt, obviously. That's like a big thing that a lot of people have and are living with. But also like financial insecurity right now. It's so hard to find a job. A lot of people are being laid off. So how do you think that also might shape like your idea of starting a family, or how that might affect anyone, any Latina, Latino wanting to start a family with like the current state of like job insecurity and student debt in general?
I guess I could say for me, like, I get really scared about like being laid off.
I know.
And like unemployment, I know, can only sustain you for like an X amount of time. And it's not even like feasible to like live off of that. So I think for me, it's like definitely one of my biggest fears. Like, I think as much as like, you know, I believe that I will have a successful journey, hopefully manifesting, like there is a subconscious fear in me all the time about that. So
for sure.
I think it definitely does play really heavily on my decision to like not have a kid, because I don't know what that will look like, and I really don't want to struggle. Part of like healing, you know, and like what I'm working on is also healing that financial side, right? So like bringing a kid into this world, as much as like I would love that, I don't think it's a reality that I can see, just because like I already feel like I'm currently struggling with that one. And I don't get paid a lot. I get paid decent, I would say, from the work that I do, but it's definitely like not sustainable in the long run. And I also want to like earn more, right? Like, but it's like I don't know what that looks like in a few years from now. But it definitely plays like a big role in like choosing to have one or not. And
I feel like I said, that's like our generation as well wants to figure things out for themselves before bringing life into this world. That's why it's like being delayed a lot too. Like, I think there's like this shift to, let me get my shit figured out before I bring another human. Like, before it's like, oh, like, you have a kid before you are even maybe sure of what your career is or whatever, right? And so I feel like now a lot of people are like, I want to figure that out first. I want to have savings. I want to buy, you know, whether it's property or be in a stable place to live in or whatever it is, and then be able to bring someone into this world. Because if you're financially insecure and like it's unstable, you there's always that worry of like, obviously how it's going to affect your kid. So I totally get that. And the debt is definitely, oh my gosh, I work for a teacher residency. And so obviously becoming a teacher, you go into a lot of debt.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sacrifices and you don't make a lot of money. No. And so many of them, we have like these scholarships, shared their stories about why they could use like an additional $4,000. Oh my God, it was so hard to read those stories. Yeah. Like just the insane amount of debt that they're dealing with already, and sacrifices that they're making to do something that they love. So I'm like, yeah, of course debt is going to be like a big factor in wanting to have a kid, or obviously like with layoffs happening and job insecurity right now. I got laid off 2 months into my first job, and
I remember that.
I had to get a minimum wage job like immediately, but that like it was a big jump for me. Yeah. And I was already renting an apartment that was not according to like my pay at that time at that point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's scary. And that's why really I would feel scary, like I would want to have some sense of security before I were to make that choice, if I were to make it, you know? So
it's real.
It's a scary one.
It's scary. Like I always think about this. I'm like, we're one step closer to like being, you know, unhoused than we are like to ever being like a millionaire or billionaire.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's real. Like that is scary. Yeah, like
for sure.
We don't know what can happen. So it's really, really scary.
For sure.
Personally, it's a big fear of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, enough about the stress of finances. Yeah. Because that can go on forever. Yeah. I'm also curious though about like our lifestyle choices changing. Obviously, I think a lot of, at least for me, I care about and have the privilege to be able to travel, to be able to like explore careers, to be an entrepreneur, to, you know, etc. So I think also maybe there might be like a little bit of a shift in lifestyle preferences or just life priorities. And for me, that's definitely true. Like I actually feel like there's some sense of fulfillment in my life that doesn't need to come from like that milestone of having a kid. And I think there are a lot of other ways or things that feel great, or that you can still have an equal impact on someone's life in different ways. So yeah, do you feel like traveling, career goals, financial stability might come before having kids then? Are there things that are more important to you in like lifestyle, or that you see even like in our generation in general that you feel are more important than having kids first?
Yeah, for sure. I think I think for me personally, I really value like my friends and I really value my friends, my community, like experiences, traveling, like, you know, paying for like a concert I really like, or going to watch like a cool like person I've always admired, like, you know, I think for me, like personally, I think I've always considered myself to be very privileged and, you know, have access to doing these sort of things. And so I personally find more like fulfillment in those things than like the idea and the thought of like what comes with like having a kid. Yeah. So I think currently, I know a lot of people that I like talk to and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to have a kid. They're like, you just have to wait.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
It kind of like upsets me. I'm like, by all means, if you believe that, whatever. But it kind of upsets me because it's kind of like this thing. It's like, yeah, you're going to want to have kids. Like that's your next step. But the reality of it is like, no, I'm pretty like firm on my decision. Like I want to be able to travel whenever I want. I want to be able to sleep in on a weekend and not have to wake up early. Like,
and a lot of people will see that as selfish. Yeah. Like, wow, you only care about yourself. And honestly, I understand that people can feel like, wait, no, you're going to want a kid. And it's because those people truly have that calling to have a kid and like are fulfilled by that. And that's amazing. Like when I tell my mom the sacrifices she made, she has no regrets. And I'm like, she feels fulfilled. But I think there is other ways now that you don't need to do that in order to feel like you're getting what you want out of life. Yeah. And a lot of people will call that selfish, but I would argue that that's not selfish, and if it is, I don't think selfish is the right word.
I don't think so either.
I think it's literally like, as we all have choices in life to choose our lifestyle, our preferences, our way of being, whatever it is, like we all just have different ways of wanting to go about it. So I just feel like it's just a difference of wanting to live your life. I also think partly having a kid right now with everything going on in the world, and I don't know, I guess as someone who was formerly in the foster care system, I learned a lot about the child welfare system and how many kids are already here that don't have parents, that unfortunately parents neglected them or passed away or could not, whatever it is, all these different reasons that might happen. There's so many kids here already that need a home. And to some extent, personally, don't take it wrong, I feel it could also be selfish in some way to bring a new kid into this world where there are already so many who could use that parent that they never had and that have no choice but are already here. And I think there's like this argument of like you want it to be your own. And I just don't feel like blood necessarily has to be family. That's the same thing goes for like my family. I don't have to be besties with my tia or Theo or my cousin, whoever it is. Like I can choose and select. And I think that's similarly to kids. There's already kids in this world. They will love you no matter who you are, and vice versa. You can love them even if they're not yours, that came out of your stomach or whatever. Not even your stomach, whatever. Anyways, you know what I mean? Outside, whatever. And so, yeah, I feel like to some extent, like we can all see it selfishly in different perspectives because there's so many kids already in this world that need a home. And I'm just like, you could choose one that literally is stuck in the system for so long. So call it selfish, call it whatever, but I think in all ways, like they're just different choices, right? Everyone has the right to choose. You want to have your own kid too, then that's your choice. By all means, they're all just preferences, I feel.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, so I was curious, like you being from Boyle Heights, East LA area, how does maybe having kids or is affected or influenced of these like milestones of marriage, of kids, of owning a home? Like, are there expectations like being someone in this community that you feel like is a part of that life for you? Or do you feel like, no, it's never been like a pressure or something that you felt as being a part of the community here?
I wouldn't say, I mean, I guess to some extent, I would say that I feel it a lot from like my family and like sometimes like from neighbors, because I live in like a very community oriented space. So like there's times where like I will go outside or my mom goes outside and like the first question is like, oh, y el novio, does she want to have kids and like all of this? And I'm like, girl, like what happened to hello? Like how is your daughter? Like, I definitely do feel, I wouldn't say it's pressure. Because personally, I don't really care. I already know where I stand on like my decision with kids. And I can say that I'm very fortunate and grateful that my parents have not pushed that narrative on me. And I'm so grateful for that because I know that other people have different experiences. And my mom has always been like, Mija, I want you to prioritize yourself, your career, your education. That's good. Before you consider. My mom actually, fun fact, had me in her like early mid 30s. She waited.
She's like, I understand why it's important to wait. Okay,
she waited because she graduated as a psychiatric nurse in the motherland. And then for her the pressure got to her because all her, I think she had five other siblings that had already had kids. And so I feel like she felt like that was her next thing. And we have conversations about that. And like, I think like she didn't want that to be like the same pressure that I had to deal with. So I wouldn't say I feel so pressured all the time. But I will say like to some degree, like subconsciously, like when I see people like getting married or like already having kids, like I love that. I think I love the idea and I wish that we lived in a place where that could be more of a reality for a lot of people, right? And not have to struggle financially. But I will say that like it is something sometimes that I yearn for. Like I'm human, right? But it isn't something that I can be like, like I want right now. But I wouldn't say that I feel a lot of the pressures.
No, and response to you here, I think like it is normal because we see it all around us. It's obviously as human beings, like we have the ability to procreate. And so I feel like, that's normal. Like people are going to do it. Like that's part of life, part of nature, part of like our system as, you know, living beings. But when it comes to like, marriage or like home ownership, those are, I think there's also like this, it's hard to unlearn some of these expectations because it's so
ingrained.
It's so ingrained and it's so ¿cómo se llama? Like it's not put on a pedestal, but like it's seen as like, or it's deemed as successful. Like it's what's like seen as like
you made it.
You get rewarded for it. You get a lot of attention for it, you know, and that feels good to feel like other people are proud of you. And those things oftentimes are when people feel proud of you. I'm like, and people are contributing a lot when you have kids, when you buy a home, when you whatever, you know, like when you get married, like those are like, oh my God, those are just like the normalized questions. But so I get you. I feel those pressures too sometimes where I'm like, okay, maybe I do want it. And it's okay to want it, obviously. But I definitely try to like live it year by year. Like this year, I know I don't want kids, so we're gonna move on to the next year, and this year I don't want marriage, so we're gonna, so I feel like I'm just trying to take it like a year at a time to see, okay, it's true. Maybe I will want kids in the future. Maybe I will want marriage. Maybe I will, whatever. But right now, in the current moment, it's a no. So it's like, okay, let's see a few years from now if that changes. But I don't want there to be a pressure of like, I'm supposed to have kids in 5 years and that's for sure. I'm just going to live it year by year. And it's so dependent on my circumstances, on my partner, on what's happening, so right? Things. Yeah, like what's happening. So I feel like it's important to, I mean, if you got to give the parents an answer, you just say something by yourself a few years.
No, when people ask him, like, oh my God, God forbid. Like,
no, me too. I'm like, no.
No, why would I think of that?
But I know some people like to give people an answer because they like bug so much. So to stop bugging, they'll just be like, oh yeah, in 3 years.
I get. Okay, so I think another important thing to talk about that I feel like for me is something I've considered a lot is like, the mental health toll that it takes to like have a kid, and also like what it looks like as Latinas. Obviously we carry like extra generational trauma from our experiences. Like how has that paid an impact in like the decision of having kids and what that looks like for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I think about my mental health, I think a lot, like I'm currently in therapy, and I think about a lot of the things that I'm already trying to like get clarity on for myself, behaviors in terms of like how I might react to things emotionally. I'm a very emotional person, which is, I mean, honestly, I own that shit. I love being emotional. I love crying. But the way like I might handle pressure or like guilt or feeling overwhelmed or stressed, like those are things that I definitely like already impact how I feel. Having a child, I think, will like layer on top of that already mental state. And obviously I've seen that a lot from other people in my life. Like I've seen my mom, my dad, like how their health has been affected, and I'm talking about like on the mental side, like how it's affected. I mean, and so I think it's scary to me. Like it's scary to have to I mean, I can't imagine having a kid brings a lot of new learnings, a lot of new challenges, a lot of new things that that's why like I admire parents so much though. Like they're able to do it and figure it out and work through it. And so that's amazing. But sometimes I'm like, I definitely, similarly to like the financial side of things, like I want to feel like I'm in a good place mentally as well, to really want to, by choice, bring that into my life and not just do it because I feel like it's getting late and I got to do it. But more like if I'm at the state where I feel like, I'm ready for it, I don't know. What are your thoughts? It's a lot.
I think about it a lot. I think I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. So like by default, I did carry a lot of very traumatic experiences. I didn't grow up with like the tools to like be able to communicate, be able to express myself, be able to handle stress, how to navigate anxiety. And so like, I know that there's definitely a lot of things that I have to work through. And I'm also on the same boat of like going to therapy, and I've been going to therapy since like my junior year of college. And it's changed me tremendously. Like it has been the one thing that has shifted the way I function in relationships. And so I think about that a lot, right? Because obviously it's like, there's tools that you learn in therapy, right? And a lot of like our immigrant parents didn't learn that, right? And so I have to like understand that, I have to be able to be at a point where I feel like I can teach those skills to another person, right? And it's like you're teaching a whole new being, especially like how to emotionally regulate, like when they're crying and they're sobbing, like do you validate that?
Right.
Like, how do you teach them, right? Like, because like I think about it a lot, like especially where I work, because we have like the little ones come in and they're like sobbing, they're yelling like in the middle of the hallway, and I'm like, how would I navigate that as a parent? And like, what is the appropriate way that it's also a teaching and a learning experience for the child itself? So like I also get really scared. Like, will I also be at a point where maybe I have like healed from, well, healing isn't linear, right? You heal every day, but I am at a point where I have worked through those things. I have the skill sets, but it's like, I think I would also want additional support, like a therapist or, somebody that's kind of guiding me through the process. Cause there's not a handbook of like how to be a parent. Right. And so I think for me, it's really scary. I definitely do feel that I had a lot of things that I'm still currently healing from traumatic experiences. And so I think for me that weighs very, very heavily because it is passed down, unfortunately. Like,
even if we're not aware.
Yeah, if you're not aware, like that stuff does pass down.
It's so true though.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like, it's something that I came to realize like once I started going to therapy, because I think a lot about like unhealthy relationships and how I ended up in certain situations, even though I know I didn't want that, but nobody like taught me, right? And so like it's something that just kind of happens as a pattern unless there's somebody there that's willing to break that cycle. So yeah, it is definitely a big fear that I also carry, where it's like I'm afraid of that child repeating the same things, and not being able to.
You don't want to either. No, that makes sense. No, it's actually so true to some points that you said. I've seen my cousin who she like studied child development, and she she always worked with children all her life, and she had a kid pretty early on, but it was so incredible. I saw her one time talk to her kid. I was just shocked because sadly I've never seen someone talk to their kid like that,
like gentle parenting.
She was like, he did something wrong, I don't know what he did, like something wrong, and she was like, hey, why did you do that? How does that make you feel? I was like, what the hell is happening right now? I was like, I've never seen that before. A lot of the times what you see is you're hitting your kid, or don't do that, or you're like scolding them, or like yelling at them, and then that is how you then show up in other relationships, which is so true. Because what I've learned, I definitely see reflected into how I project when I'm not feeling great, or when I'm in an argument, whatever it is, right? So I think it was incredible to see that. And I feel like, luckily for her, like she had the years of experience and practice with other kids, and obviously studying it. But a lot of people don't. We just kind of learn what like we learn from our parents, and that's about it. So it is also incredible to think about how, in order to shift, some of those behaviors of parenting, which I cry sometimes when I see the way people treat their kids.
Oh my God.
I can't watch this. Yeah, dude, it's so sad. And like you're saying, even when you work with kids and you see them behave, you know that that's a projection also off of what they're learning, right? Tantrums, behavioral issues. And I think to the flip side of that, for like parents who have these kids, I've also seen a lot of them have to grow up so fast because they have a kid that they don't have the chance to fully develop themselves. Like you said, like they don't have the chance to really explore and gain clarity for themselves. I've seen a lot of young moms, unfortunately, who like in their 20s weren't done like figuring things out for themselves. And like it makes me sad to like see that happen, or even I mean I even think about my grandma, who she now has Alzheimer's, but this is the first time that I feel personally that I'm like truly seeing her have to figure out her identity a little bit more, because it was a lot of times serving my grandpa, who passed away recently, and now she's kind of like figuring out who she is, because she was raising kids all her life, and now it's like now the time's hers, and now it's the chance where she gets to figure out who she is, but it's like so late in life, you know. So I think it's also crazy how like when you have a kid, you kind of pause your own development, your own growth, your own sense of identity, which can affect how you end up raising kids, or how you end up showing up. So it's crazy. It's crazy what can be passed down even subconsciously.
And I think a lot of that too is like, therapy is a privilege to have access to, right? And like a lot of our communities and our families don't have access to mental health resources. So it is a little bit of a heavier burden, right? Like if you don't have that as an option, like you kind of just have to figure it out along the way. And like, I don't blame parents. Like it's hard to raise a kid. But I definitely do think about that a lot. It's really scary. And also I think like for me, another important part is like having a partner that is also willing to do that work, right? And also to like learn how to gentle parent, right? Be a supportive partner, also has done their internal healing work to be able to show up in the relationship and the family. So there's definitely so many factors for sure. And so it's a decision I cannot make lightly, and definitely leaning towards like no, because
if you haven't noticed, we're both leaning towards no. Or at least not right now, for sure.
Not right now.
No, it's true. And what about kind of on the same side of not, the generational trauma necessarily that we carry, but sort of in the way the trauma that we're experiencing now with what's happening in our society, like politically, I mean, even with climate change, with our environment, with everything. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, that does affect how I actually want to bring a child into this world, because at least when I see my younger siblings, nieces, nephews, I'm like, I've experienced trauma, and like, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure it's for everyone. I experienced it. I'm like, okay, like I got through it, but like to see other people experience it, like it hurts me. I'm like, I don't want you to experience these unfortunate things that so many kids experience, like bullying, body image, and comparing themselves. Like I see so many young nieces or young cousins just prioritizing things that I'm like, I wish you could just enjoy your life and just like find joy in things, but like feel so much pressure to show up a certain way. And that's scary to me. That's like one thing out of like the many things, but I think also just politically and like the resources available, the sense of community, the fear that's instilled in our communities right now, and I'm just like, I feel like that has to influence how you decide to bring in a child, knowing that what's happening right now is so unknown of how it's going to look, at least the direction it's going. I also fear like those things when it comes to having a kid.
I think there's so many things, but definitely like the state of the world is something that weighs really.
Sorry, Tonali's trying to enter the chat right now.
I think a lot about like climate change. Like that's real, right? Like what is the world going to look like a few years from now?
Let me get through this lifetime, please.
Like, like what if I'm not alive and my kids have to live through something horrible, right? But I definitely do think of like the economic and political state of the world. Like that's a reality for us. And I think like I get really scared about climate change. Like what is that going to look like? Right. And so I also think a lot about like the political state. It's like, I am fearful of like,
who knows,
the times we're living in. Like it feels like we're gonna be in like a war like tomorrow.
To bring
sometimes.
A child is crazy.
Like it just is really, really scary to me. And like I don't think I have it in me, like as somebody who feels a lot and is very like emotional, like I always have been, like I feel like I would suffer a lot just watching my kid have to live through that.
That's why, like seeing other people already like deal with these like horrible, unfortunate, hate and things in this world that are so just sad. I'm like, it's gonna kill me to see my own child go through that. Even see my young cousins or siblings, I'm like, ugh. Dude, I wish it wasn't like this, but it is.
It is,
So it is scary because you're bringing your child into a world that's like has so much good, right? And seeing the positive of like community and love that you have, family and support, and just the simple things of life, right? But there's also the other side where like you can't control the full environment and the things they experience in school and all these other factors that like you really have to be able to like let go and let them like go through it and experience it. And like I don't want to deal with that.
I don't want to. It's heavy, for sure. And I've also heard like an interesting perspective a few times from people. It's like, but also like, what if obviously if like good people stop having kids, like what would a world like that look like, right?
That would be well, wouldn't we die off at some point though?
Probably. I don't know.
Maybe that's for the best of like the world, and like we just start fresh.
No, literally. But it's true. Like I also think like I would love to have a kid ideally, because I know I would raise such a great kid.
Right?
And
like, there's so many beauties of it.
Like for sure. Like definitely we have our opinions and like things that we think about. But like I talk about this with my best friend. He's like, you should probably be the one having a kid because you're having these conversations.
These are the people who don't have
kids. But I'm like, I'm okay.
No, and I try to think about how like if I weren't to have a kid, because I don't know, and so I don't want to speak on that for sure, but there are so many ways that I still want to be involved with youth, and I think you're ready. Oh my god! And like I still want to do that, so I still feel like the reason when I think about why I'd want to have a kid is because I want to help shape. Have that relationship that's like no other, as what I've heard, and also shape someone who like truly gets to embody like these healthy, habits and just a human being and being a good person and being able to help that person, then spread that to other people. I'm like, I could do that already with a lot of youth in the meantime. Help continue that, help be there for them. A lot of what people need in this world or young kids is just someone who believes in them. So I'm like, if we can do that to so many others right now, I'm like, to my extent, like we're already having that impact on a lot that makes a difference. Because when we think about our own teachers, our own people in our lives, who, they're not our moms or dads, but
they had like a
change. They change our lives or shift our mindsets. And I can think of people who have done that for me. And I'm like, you weren't even my parent, but all I needed was someone to tell me, like,
to believe in me.
Exactly. So I'm like, we can still do that.
Yeah.
In that sense of like having a kid, at least for me, would be so.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who have chosen not to have kids or who are not parents right now, but I think they're parental figures in other ways in their lives, right? Like the kids that I work with, like it is such a privilege to be able to guide them in a direction that I know will like have such a big impact in their life. Maybe not at the moment, but like I can say for sure the only reason I am here where I'm at right now is for all those people that believed in me when I was like a teenage kid.
Exactly.
So yeah, so we're still parents in some ways. Yeah.
Or for me, like my siblings too. So I'm like, it's still a way. Okay, and then I know earlier we talked about like the cultural kind of aspect and how, at least for you, your parents, you don't feel the pressures. Neither do I. So I feel actually very similarly in that sense. Thankfully, there's never any pressures. If anything, there's like the opposite. Like my mom kind of scares me to have kids.
Really?
Like, she's like, no, Metztli, it feels like someone's stabbing you in the back 10 times. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom.
Thanks.
Like, you're trying to convince me. It feels like at this point to not have a kid. But do you still feel like generally there's pressure to have kids from people? Or do you feel like not as much? Do you feel like it's more acceptable?
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't feel pressure necessarily, but I will say that I have seen like a shift in like friendships.
Really?
Sometimes, with like people who like choose to have kids or like
without even having a kid, like their shifts,
or like that's their goal, right? Where they want to have like a partner, they want to get married, they want to have kids, like you know, like that's their way of knowing that they made it and they're successful. So like I have seen a shift in that way where it's like I've seen a lot of my friendships kind of like have different levels of intimacy, right? Because of that.
But values differences.
Right. And so like I don't feel like I don't feel pressured around it personally, but I do feel like in society, like I just think it's very still normalized to have kids. Like that's what everyone is kind of like expecting.
Yeah, it's the expectation.
It's the expectation.
For sure.
But personally, like I think it is such an empowering thing to be able to make that decision and be like, yeah, like I have a choice and I don't think I want kids. Like I'm the first person in my lineage to be able to make that choice actively, right? And like make that conscious choice. So like for me, like it's a very empowering thing knowing that like I don't have to feel pressured by everyone around me, and it's like I can live my life to my fullest and like use my free will to invest in other things that are just going to be much more fulfilling for me.
So what about the argument, and I'm saying because people have told me this when I say I don't want a kid, so I'm curious what you're going to say as an only child. If you don't have a kid, that ends your lineage, your legacy. What do you say to people who are like, well, do you not want to carry on your family's name,
DNA, whatever?
Like what do you respond to that? I'll tell you what I say, but I'm curious what you
say. I don't really give a
oops, it's done.
I think in some way I think about this sometimes. I'm like, well, I did break the generational curses. Like it ends with me. I healed. Well, I tried the best within my capacity and it ends, right? I'm choosing not to continue those cycles because I don't know if I had a kid, if I were to be able to have all the things that I would love to have to be able to create a child that's living in a healthy home, right? So personally, I'm like, well, it is what it is. I live my best life.
Oops, it's over.
You know what? Like I have like centuries of ancestors behind me. Like there's a long line behind me that lives a great life. And I am living an amazing life. And I lived with the most that I could. And so I don't think it matters to me. It's really not that serious. Maybe my cousins will have kids and there you go. It's still going. And
I think legacy has a lot to do with pressure as well. It's this idea of like what should be done. I think also legacy has a little bit to do with ego, like wanting your lineage to continue to exist.
DNA, like
and I think what I think about too is like, okay, why does someone by blood need to carry on my name? I again can do that for different children out there or different people or individuals. Because one of the questions I got was like, well, then who's your house gonna go to, or who? I'll give it away to a family,
to a nonprofit. Like
it'll be donated to the freaking Boyle Heights community. So like
you can still leave an impact on this world.
It doesn't need to be my name, and I really don't care. So I was just curious because you're an only child, and I don't know if you ever got that, but
I do.
I'm like, oh well, then it's over with you. So I think it's a combination of reasons too.
It's a combination.
But I feel you. It's still a normalized thing, and that's cool. I still think like there are so many people in this world who want to be a parent and should be a parent, and that's like their life goal, and that's amazing. Like some people when they're little, like they know it's their calling, and I feel like people like my mom became an amazing parent, and you were meant to do that, and like but I feel like it's okay to also not feel like you need to do that.
The polar
and, like,
opposite is okay.
You don't want that, and so I'm just like, I think it's important to have the choice. I think it's still important for people to have a kid if they want to, but also not have a kid if you don't want to, so and I do feel like there is still some pressures, but I think it's more around the expectations. Like it's always the question of, like, if you say like you don't want kids, why is it never, I'm gonna have kids, why? Like it's only questionable,
that's cool,
if you're not gonna have kids. It's only questionable the opposite way. Same thing with marriage. So, like, you're not gonna get married, why wouldn't you want to? Many reasons, but so I'm just like, it's just like the expectation, and I get it. It's like what our parents felt was like part of life, and
for sure,
just like part of like the milestones, and so I get to some extent that that's like just normalized.
Well, thank you for listening to our thoughts. We definitely have a few like mixed feelings. Currently, we're both
so you can tell we're passionate.
That we don't want to right now, but it can change. Like we change every day.
But it's something important to talk about because it's definitely something I think
we've seen a shift
in.
For sure.
Pretty obvious.
But just a little bit to shift and close out like the conversation. We wanted to invite you guys to kind of reflect and journal on like some of the things we talked about, right? If they resonated with you, or maybe you haven't thought about it that deeply, or you think you made a decision and maybe want to ponder on a few of these questions. We came up with like some few journaling prompts. If you guys want to, you're more than welcome to grab your journals, go to the park, and maybe think about these things. But what's important for you right now in your current lifetime? What kind of life do you envision for yourself in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? And how do you currently handle long-term responsibilities and emotional labor? I think that's a really good one. And are you prepared to make financial and lifestyle shifts if you do have a kid?
And I just think like it's so not normalized to write about these things before having a child. So I think if you have the chance now, even if you're not thinking about having a kid, it's always a work in progress, but thinking and getting clarity on some of these questions is just fundamental to really feeling sure of like your choice, And so, those are great questions. And then some of the last tips I wanted to share with like just things that I would recommend we continue to do around this conversation of having kids. Talk about it openly. Like, I think we need to normalize the conversation of not wanting them and all the reasons why, and validating that. Making community with others. There are a lot of people, as you can see, who also feel the same way, and you can relate to it, even if there's parents or grandparents who are pressuring you to. I also think like, journaling is a good one, like making time to consider what you want and getting that clarity. Also learning about your body, so that the decision is informed and not pressured. There's a lot of things that you may be on the biological or just like prevention side. We got to continue to do that. And then of course, like setting boundaries with family of those conversations, if it's something that you don't want to talk about, or timing expectations of that. And then the last thing I'll say that we talked about as well is investing in yourself right now through therapy, to give yourself the chance to heal through journaling, going outside, thinking about it, talking about it with others. It's so important to invest in that time for yourself now so that you have the clarity you need going into that decision, whatever it is, regardless of having a kid, not having a kid, getting married, not getting married, etc.
I love that.
All right, y'all. We're going to do a fun little activity called Guess the Price Baby Edition. Is that what the game is called? It's called like, Price is Right Baby Edition, in theme with our episode today. So I'm going to ask Ixchel some questions for her to guess how much this would cost, to kind of in the theme of like having a kid and how expensive it is.
Let's talk about the reality.
I'm going to give you some and you're going to let me know. How much do you think a year's supply of diapers is in California on average?
California? God. A year? I'm going to say like 3,500.
Oh, actually, it's not that bad.
Oh, yay.
The average is 900 to 1,200 a year.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to put into theory like a whole year. Okay, how much do you think a car seat is?
Probably like 200.
250 to 400.
Almost there.
Almost there. Okay. How about delivery costs, like birth costs?
Oh God.
Yeah. What would you say? A C-section? A
C-section?
Delivery? Yeah. Whatever.
Can I just do like a total amount?
Yeah, a total amount of all of it. The ultrasounds, labs.
With or without insurance?
Without insurance.
Probably like 30 grand.
Yeah, it ranges between 20 and 28,000. And
then the tax?
Yeah, oh yeah,
tax.
Probably didn't include all of that. Okay, let's do 2 more. How much do you think formula is for a year?
For a year?
Yeah.
Probably like 500.
1,500 to 2,000 a year. Oh. Yeah, I would not know either.
I don't know, yeah.
How about daycare per month? What do you think the average cost of it is per month?
Daycare per month? I think it's like 2,000 or 3,000.
1,600 to 2,500 a month on average. Yeah, obviously that's average. That's literally more rent than some places. It's like paying double the rent.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's incredible. Anyway, okay, that was just a fun little game to get you some insight into how expensive things are. And we really do not know those things. No. So I feel like a lot of people also learn it for the first time when they're buying it. I learned that when I bought diapers first time at their baby shower. I was like, oh, this is why they want diapers. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
It's crazy.
Okay. And then for a closeout, we're going to do a quick shout out of a business that we support either in Boyle Heights or in the surrounding communities. So what's your Boyle Heights or surrounding community shout out?
Mine is Un Solo Sol on First Street in front of Mariachi Plaza. Their pupusas are so good, and it's so cute because they have them in ancestral style.
Ooh, yeah, I need to go back. I haven't been in a minute.
It's great.
They're so supportive.
It was so delicious. Yeah, so definitely Un Solo Sol. If y'all can, go support them.
Yeah, they've been advocating for themselves lately.
Yeah. So please show them some love.
Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah, what about yours?
Yeah, mine this weekend, I went to Ground Up Coffee. Mm-hmm. Their coffee shop in technically Montebello, I think.
Yeah, Montebello, yeah.
And we did like a little run there, but we ended at the coffee shop. And I met one of the owners, such a humble person. And also the coffee and matcha, like,
it's great.
Exceeded my expectations. Wow. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was good quality. Ooh. Love that spot. And they have dog treats and they have dog toys for you to take home.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I can take one home? Yeah, it was so cool.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah. Great spot.
Now, what is one of your wellness tips for the week?
Yeah. Funny enough, in the theme of coffee, my wellness tip is actually what I do every Sunday is I give myself at least 1 hour at a coffee shop to kind of like give myself time to re-ground myself for the week. I think it's like so easy to like fall back into Monday and we're like, oh shit, like we're back into the week. And so I give myself time every Sunday to like go through, reflect on like my financial choices that week, to reflect through what things I have going on, anything that I kind of like missed that I didn't do. And this is for like my personal life, not for work. So I think like actually setting that time aside is really, really helpful.
Yeah, I love that.
What are you?
Good one. I think for me is a gratitude walk. I was feeling really sick and really low, and I went out and was walking out at the park, and I was like, you know what, even though I feel pretty shitty, like I'm really grateful for the life that I have and the small things that make me happy every day. That is a big privilege. So I think that's really helpful. Yes. Well, thank you for tuning in. We were really happy that you guys are here with us. If it spoke to you, feel free to share it with your homegirls, your amigas, anybody that, you know, would benefit from this.
Healing is super personal, but it's also very collective. So we're always really excited to be doing this with all of you. Please follow us on Instagram at Healing in Spanglish and subscribe wherever you're listening on Spotify or YouTube. The support is super helpful and will allow us to continue having these conversations with you all. Stay tuned for everything we have next.
Yes. Thank you. Hasta la próxima con mucho amor.
Bye.